Thank you for joining me in my living room. Um, it's been quite a week for almost everybody, right? The Olympics, but for me especially. Some of you may recall the last time that we visited was when I had fallen in the Kmart parking lot and I'd hurt my wrist really rather severely. And we talked about what you can do for self help for that. And since most of you know, I'm a homeopathist and I'm a natural health practitioner. So the option for me to go to the hospital or to see a allopathic physician have to be very, very severe. I'm not saying don't ever go, but I will also always try to eliminate all of the natural health recourses that I have available to me. And if that doesn't work, then, well, then so be it. Then we have to go for something else. And that is usually my philosophy. Um, so last week, that came to a test. My hand was healing, and it was Thursday. We were waiting for our son from California to visit us. And so I was cleaning and I was cooking and I was all about. I did feel tightness in my upper body, but I really never, I thought, oh, well, what the heck, I took a little bit of Rudagrav and thought, well, it'll take care of itself. Um, And then at night, I was lying in bed and I felt a very searing pain go through my upper back left side. And I woke up and I said, that is not a good thing. That does not feel like it should be there. So I got up and I drank some water, and my back started to hurt more and more and more, and it was a very burning pain. So when our son came, I just sort of left them, father and son by themselves. They took care of themselves, and they just left me. And I said, well, I'm just going to rest. I'm just going to rest. I'm going to take some Rudagrav. I'm going to take a few other remedies, maybe uh, hypercarium, because that's for nerve ending. I knew it had something to do with the nerve. Why? Because about 10 years ago, I came off one of my horses right in our driveway where that impacted hard thing is. It's not asphalt, but it feels like asphalt. And I came off right on my back and neck. And I cracked the vertebrae at that time. And I had a very good chiropractor who said, you know what, if you do not aggravate this in any which way, it will heal and you will be all right. And everybody else was telling me all kinds of things that I had to do, all the way up to surgery. Well, who do you think I believed, right? So I sat in a chair for 6 weeks when I wanted to go to sleep. Otherwise, I just walked slowly to the bathroom. I did the necessary things for myself very slowly without jerking my head or anything. I made myself a headband with a stocking and rice, and I put it on, and I went to my chiropractor once a week, and he would align all those little vertebrae in there with his fingers. He was a very talented man, very. So that was 10 years ago, right? So then over the years, you have a little stiffness and you have a little, and then I had a little tingling in my fingers. I thought, well, I'm getting older. I mean, what? This thing was there. Maybe I'm a little arthritic in it. So I would take some Silicea. I would say, oh, it's gonna be all right. I take my calcium and my magnesium. You always have to take those two together. They sell them with magnesium, calcium, and zinc, which I find the best capsule. But try when you want to have magnesium because you can't sleep. Then always mix it with calcium in some food. Always have it with food, because if you don't, you will only absorb a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of that capsule, and most of your money is wasted. So get the whole benefit and take them together, and they can be absorbed, and have them with some kind of a food, a bite of something. All right. So here we were. Where were we? Oh, I was so my fingers were tingling. So I said, fine, fine. I'm going to rest this out. I'm going to put cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot. Well, that only increased it. By Sunday, I was in such screaming pain that I thought, you know what? If I had a gun, I would shoot me. I just could not understand. I have never in my life had pain like this. It was so excruciating that really beyond words. None of the meds that I repurchased, Advil, Tylenol, blah, 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 all of that. I had a anti-inflammatory one. It was a little couple years old, but I'm sure it still would have worked. Nothing worked. Nothing, 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 nothing. I even resorted to my old remedy and saying aspirin and a shot of vodka. Nope, that didn't work either. It kept increasingly worse. So on Sunday, from Thursday to Sunday, I was in this pain, right? By Sunday, I was worn down. I said, that's it. I can't take this anymore. I gotta have some real meds. This is definitely crazy. So I made my husband take me to the emergency room. And I mean, literally, I was crying because I was in so much pain. And I can take pain. I had a kid and so on. Oh, nothing. This was when you have a scale 1 to 10, when they ask you how the pain level is, I would answer them 15 because it was so bizarre. So they gave me right away. They didn't give me a shot, which I was very grateful for because I did not want a shot. But they took a CAT scan and they saw it was a trapped nerve. So here's what the guy was a DO, and he was a real nice. Mostly these emergency room people, they only know how to sew you up. But this guy was cool. I told him, I said, I'm a natural health practitioner. I don't really take any drugs or anything, but this is so severe. You have to give me something for me to collect my thoughts so that I can find my own remedy. I couldn't even go to the computer and try to find something. I mean, it was really bad. So he said, you know what? Here's the prognosis. This may or may not get better. It may get better if we can, with the prednisone, the steroid, and the Fibrocel. Fibrocel is a muscle relaxer. And then Oxycontin, you should be fine. And I looked at this guy and I said, oh, yeah, I mean, I'm sure I will be fine. That's the big guns, right? So, but like I said, I had no choice. I downed those pills, and it was getting in the daytime. I was able to move around and breathe. At night, because I had so few, I only had 4 or 5. So the pain was in such a high intensity that I had to take that more frequently to be relieved of the pain because there were such low potencies, which I was grateful for, really. I much rather do that, go that route. Well, by Friday, I had run out of that. So that was stuff that helped me. Okay, now today is Sunday. By Friday, I did not think that I would be sitting here because I was still in too much pain. Am I in pain right now? Yeah, but nothing of what it was before. There is like maybe a 4 or 5. Okay, it's right on my left shoulder up here. And here's the thing. Once then I made an appointment. I said, well, you know what? Acupuncture might help because I didn't want to go back to the emergency room. Acupuncture. So I know a guy here who is supposedly very good. So I walked in on him and said, he knows me. I said, I apologize, but I have this severe pain. I mean, I can't be taking this Oxycontin and these steroids. So is there any way that you could block that nerve somehow or heal it? That's what they really do. They go to the meridian points and they stick a needle in, and that removes the blockage. Whatever, I mean, I don't care. Just do it. And so he did. And I had severe pain. He said this was the ulnar nerve, and that's true. It is. And I don't think of any of his fault that I did not have any relief. But I think the message was just like my homeopathy before, was not the right message for my body. So then I made an appointment with a chiropractor friend and said, listen, I got to come in. You got to do something. I know I have to be adjusted, but I don't even know if you can. But, I'm going to come in. So I came in and he said, he knew exactly what to do. I mean, it was amazing. This guy was just like, oh, I know this. Boop, boop, boop. Ice pack here. I mean, ice. It was like, yeah, I thought my shoulder was freezing off. It was so cold. And then he put a TENS unit on. So for 20 minutes only, the ice and the TENS unit. So I walked out and I was still pretty, but I was able to move now. Now there was progress. It was starting to get a little progress here. And I made an appointment for the next day, for Saturday, yesterday. And I saw him and I was able to move my head already and so on. So then he did the same procedure and then he explained to me something. He told me, he said, with we were whenever you have a break in your ankle or your arm or so on, how to you put ice on first, right? And then you put heat on after 24 hours. The heat should really not be as much. The ice is more beneficial for all of traumatic instances. And even though I knew that, I did not consider this an injury. I considered this as a cramp, like as a defense mechanism of my body. And so I said, okay, if that is the case, then ice is more indicated. So I happen to have a small TENS unit. And I said, I'm going to do that because I knew that last night was coming and I had no more pain meds left at all. Nights are, by the way, were always the worst because you were lying and you just could not get the right position, because your head is so heavy on that small little vertebrae. These bones, they are so delicate, really, in reality. And it is such a precarious, it's really bad design, bad design. If I would go back and say, God, design us a little different, I probably would strengthen that connection there a little bit more, because that is one of the areas where people have most pain and most injuries. And so it can't be a good design. What do you think,
I
Amnon?
would think that you need to send it back and opt for the new and improved version.
I think so too. All right. When I find out how to do that, I will tell you all about it.
Yeah. And you saying before that you were such pain that you could shoot yourself if you had a gun. That's the only reason that I can think of for gun control. That's the only reason.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't do that because I'm a chicken. So
There is a
it might hurt,
question. There's a question in the chat that says, "What did he put with the ice?"
Oh, he put a tense unit with it's an electrical stimulant. And there are two pads, and he put them on, and then he put the ice over it. And he left me for 20 minutes like this. And then he could me really adjust. I felt it really cracking in my neck.
Hmm.
And so last night, I had this horrid night where I went to sleep at first. Oh, I forgot to tell you the most important part. The most important part was that now that the pain was not so terribly intense anymore, I was able to go online and find a solution. And the solution I found was overwhelmingly people. I went on these chat sites where they have these kind of, people discuss these things because it's very prevalent. Very prevalent. And there's a whole new industry, the Laser Spine Institute, that is cropping up. They do quickie little surgeries on the production band there. So, yeah, big need for that. A lot of people have this. If you had a prior injury to your neck, it's most likely. If you never had a prior injury, you may develop arthritis. And also, what is very, very important, guys out there, whoever is listening, posture. We're all on the computer so much. And I put my head forward. That means my torso is not uh, shouldering the weight of my head, but only that little vertebrae in the back of my head. And that causes damage to that vertebrae and causes damage to the cartilage in there. It starts to bulge out and disappear and thin itself. It only replenishes it and is good if it is straight in the way it is supposed to be aligned. That is why chiropractors do play a role in our life. And I think a good chiropractor who understands what he's doing um, is like a pearl in the ocean. I mean, there are a lot of bad ones out there. Stay away from them. It's
Yeah.
the same thing as with doctors. This doctor in the emergency room, he could have loaded me up with Oxycontin and with the steroids, and I would have been on that for 2 or 3 weeks. Because let me tell you, all it did was take some of the edge of the pain away. It did not completely take the pain away, but it did let me sleep at night.
Mhm.
So and it did not make it better. What I did afterwards is starting now to make it better. And here's what I found. Most of these people that have found relief through marijuana and through CBD oil. Both of these, the cannabinoid oils and the THC of the marijuana, have an anti inflammatory effect. And they also have an effect that blocks the pain. And that is the most important. Nerve pain is not a pain. You know, when you have a pain in your stomach and you say, oh my God, I must have eaten something bad or so on. That is usually an indication a of a blockage or something. This was not. This was just one nerve, and it happens to be a very large nerve. The nerve that comes down all the way into the flexor muscles here. And so now my arm starts to hurt somewhat because that nerve inflamed itself so badly that it cramped up the muscles around everything. That's why I had such a severe pain. And so I happen to have sources. So, and you know, guys, I have CBD oil, and I make with 1 drop of CBD oil, I make my remedies. So here's what I did: is I was off all the other meds. So what I did is I just took homeopathy, hypercaria, silicea, because I want my silicea absorbs scar tissue and such, and freeze uh, a joint or something. So I'm hoping that the silicea will do that for my neck. I'll write about it if it does. And then I put on, well, like I said, I have a TENS unit, so I put that on and was ice. So that's how I spent last night. Um, I would take a puff, and then I would put the TENS unit on, and then I put the ice over it, and then I would wait 20 minutes, and I would go to bed, and I would sleep an hour or two, and I would wake up again because the pain was getting stronger again, and I would come out and I would do the same. So I did that about 3 times. This morning, I was a lot more limber. I had a lot less pain, a lot less pain. And I am right now, as you can see, I can move my arms, I can move my head. I couldn't even move my head before. And I can talk, and yeah. Uh, it's going to be a slow process, I know, because an inflamed nerve heals very slowly, guys. Inflamed nerves of any kind, you have it in your foot, in your toe, in your arm, and wherever, is the worst to heal. It is just so, because they're the pathways for our pain neuro transmitters to go through. So since there's always they're busy. Nerves are very busy, you know. So to heal them is going to take a while, but I know I will. I know that it. And then I will write about how you can do it without having to conform to drastic measures. I mean, I was reading very sad things with this. So there was one gal that wrote, I've been doing this for 2 months now with the ice, and I bought myself a TENS unit because I couldn't afford the chiropractor anymore. But the unit that she purchased was not as strong as the chiropractor one. So it didn't do as much good as when she went to the chiropractor. So she kept just um, pushing pushing the healing process forward, not attacking it and saying, okay, I want you to do your job now. And, that's why I didn't want to take the steroids, because the steroids tell the immune system, oh, come on, pipe down. You're not in charge right now. We are in charge, and you are going to, and we're going to just block these neurotransmitters that uh, give this nerve the swelling and the muscles the swelling and so on. We're going to just, pipe down the immune system, because the immune system is there already. That's why you have that pain. Alarm, 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 you know? So steroids are not a good thing unless you have to. And I was grateful I only had a couple of pills. They are hopefully not going to damage me permanently. But anyway, so that's what the story is. So I am this week still going to be taking it easy, very easy. It is still not that comfortable to sit for long periods of time because that's when, you know, the head presses on the spine more. And so, do we have any questions out there?
The only thing is, let me ask you this again. Back to that unit with the ice. Is this something that you recommend people would buy? And what is it again?
It's a TENS unit, and a TENS unit,
Tens
TENS,
as
TENS.
okay. All right. So do you recommend people get it and have it on hand?
Yeah, if they email me, I can tell them which ones are good and which
Okay.
ones to buy. Yeah,
Okay. All right. That's it.
sure. Yeah, I don't really sell them as yet because if I get enough people who want one, I can probably get us a fabulous price,
Yeah. Okay. All right.
you know? So we'll see. We'll all buy one. But I mean, I have one. Mine is not especially a TENS unit as the one the chiropractors have,
Right.
but because it is made for facial and you know for lifting, but the currency is the same. The current is the same. It's an intermittent current.
Mm-hmm.
And that because you know our body works on electrical
Yeah.
ways, you know, the and when you have a blockage, when you have a blockage in those electrical currents, and that's when pain arises, and that's when discomfort and inflammations and so on arise. So you want to have that, and then the ice really, what the ice does, it constricts all the capillaries so that it pushes the blood away. Now, why would it do that? When it constricts all the capillaries, the lymph system is in the capillaries, and the lymph system gets squeezed, and the lymph system pushes out the infection out away from the area. The blood, when you take the ice off, the blood that rushes back in will now open those capillaries again and flood it with fresh new blood.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a wonderful way of healing. It really is. I mean, I prefer this so much more to than the droopiness I had, you know, with Oxycontin or whatever, you know.
Sure.
But if you're in such pain as I was, I think that I did the best choice for myself. You know, I helped myself the best way that I could.
Yep.
And you know what is very interesting? This pearl necklace is magnetic, and there's a little magnet inside. Okay, and while I've been wearing it, I did the TENS unit this morning. While I've been wearing the magnetic necklace on that muscle, I feel slight pulses. The electricity that is still in my body in that area is connecting with this necklace, which is really odd. I have never, ever felt anything like this. I really think that you remember Niken, don't you, Amnon?
Niken?
Yeah, Niken. There was like about 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, they were very big in the United States. It's a natural health and wellness. And they use magnets to heal pain and
Oh,
disruption.
they're still outfits that do that with all kind of magnets.
Yeah. And they do work somewhat, but in many cases, you have to try different modalities before you hit on the modality that cures us then. But each modality, whatever it is, except if it is, let's say, um, counteractive to what you're trying to achieve. I mean, there are people who do, they go and they sprain a wrist and then they go into the hot tub to try to cure it. I mean, those people are in trouble, you know, because they are going to have severe pain because they're putting hot right away on an acute injury. You're flirting with long time bad pain. And if you do something like that, well, that's not very wise. But otherwise, I think one should try to understand also the process, what it does to your body when you take alternative remedies or go for alternative help. You have to understand, when I do this, what are the likely outcomes? Um, I mean, the shorter your projection is, the more successful you probably will be. That means you have searing pain and you want to be well in an hour. I don't think so. There is no such pill unless they knock you out. Then you have no pain. But
Well,
being
I mean,
away,
if you could go up to Star Trek and have the doctor there treat you, then everything will be done in about
well, that's it. We are
30
still on the hunt
seconds.
for Star
Yeah.
Trek, Yeah. They're still out there. They're still out there.
Yep.
They're gonna come. They're gonna come on November 6th and rescue us. Help! Oh God, guys. Well, I am so glad I was able to laugh with you. I hope all of you had a little chuckle with that and with my little saga of my health. And I hope it helped some of you. I will keep you updated. Let's pray for next week to be an uneventful week. I could use one of those. And otherwise, I wish you a glorious weather. We're supposed to in the east here have great weather. So what can go wrong, Amnon?
Well, I mean, it's a lot can go wrong. Let's hope that it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hope it nothing.
Yep.
I wish all of you a great summer. This morning it was nice and cool, like summer ending. I kind of hate summer to end, but on the other hand, it wasn't that great the last couple of weeks, so yeah. But so there. Bye, my friends. I see you next Sunday. I hope all you are alive and well and happy. Bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, My Life, My Will with Gisela DiCarlo, The Tanya Love Show, Health Then with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Triangle Be Well with Howard Jacobson, Lunch and Learn with Rabbi Yisrael Cutler, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, Current Affairs with Amnon Nissan. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section on nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Atomos.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.